Hello everybody, welcome back to Orbis Overdrive. It's your guy Gimmick, and today we have a little bit of a different version of Orbis Overdrive for you today. Just given that there's been quite a lot that's been going on over the past couple of days, we wanted to take today to really talk about not only just the patch update, but also some of the other popular topics within the community. We really wanted to say that we always value your feedback, so thank you guys as always for your continued and critical feedback for us. We know how important it is to maintain a great relationship between us on the global team and with you, the community. In addition to this, we also do plan on changing the stream a little bit, so for the next couple of weeks we're going to be reviewing and looking for the best way to create a better live experience for the global community. But for the most part, for today's stream, we wanted to go over today's patch update and also just talk about what's going on in the community. So I've got my notes right here, so we can just get right into it, talking about today's update for Epic 7. Now, excuse me, I just dropped my pen, so I'm going to quickly grab that, and here we go. So for today's update, we had quite a bit of stuff that went through. Not only were there just tons of really cool additions, but also some major changes for the general appearance of Epic 7. So I wanted to start off with the UI improvements. I know that there's been a lot of discussion about that, especially when I was playing for the first time today. I noticed that there was a lot of changes to the way that the UI looked. So the buttons looked a little different, the way that the equipment setup looks, and also just the way that the background looks too. I know that they gave us the background for the original hero screen, but I do like the new changes in the color. So I wanted to open up the conversation for you guys. How are you guys feeling about the new UI update? Looking so official with the notebook. I'm trying my best. Thank you, Miku. The UI does seem smoother, okay. Some people are saying, please bring back the old UI. It looks okay, gotta get used to it. That's the thing for me. I think I've just gotta take a little bit of time to get used to it. I certainly, especially when I was looking at all the other buttons, I thought it was like just the UI, but then I paused and I hit the pause menu, and it also had like the rounded buttons. It looks pretty interesting, but it seems that a lot of people do have some different opinions on the look of the UI. And I think that especially for me, I think it's going to take a little bit of time for me to get used to it, but I think a lot of people are saying that they are seeing certain things. Some people saying here, not having the stats on the first tab does feel weird. Let the gear tab be on default. I'll certainly note these things down. Those are pretty important. Just being able to just get like a quick overview of your stats for sure. So let me put that down. Stats and equipment being on first screen. And for people who did like the old background, that is something that's currently added to your inventory. You can actually check your mailbox right now, but you can see that there. Seems like a good change. Stats are important on the first screen. I think that's what a lot of people are saying. Would you guys agree that the stats would be kind of the most important thing to show on the first screen rather than just the hero itself and the skills? And the two blue buttons look kind of out of style. Okay, there's a lot of really good feedback here. Stats first, yeah. I think in my opinion, I think it'd be a great change to make. So I'll certainly note that down. But I think that, especially with the change to that, I also do think that the change to the way that the icons do look, I know they do look a little bit different than they used to before, but being able to see what each of them do, especially I think for the perspective of a new player, seeing what all of them do, like the memory imprint and the awakening button, I think it does provide a little bit more context as to what each button does. I definitely knew that from as a new player when I was first playing the game 2 years ago. I was just like, all those buttons on the bottom were like, which one do I click, Yeah, Miku's saying I love the new buttons as a newbie. Certainly definitely like a big thing for newer players, but I think the stats are definitely really important to keep as well, in my opinion. So I'll certainly note that down and have that taken a look at. In addition, I think that one of my favorite parts of this update, in my opinion, was the hero bios. So I know a lot of people have been showing it across different platforms, but the new hero bios showing a lot more into the different characters. So their hobbies, their interests, their motto, likes and dislikes. How are you guys feeling about the hero bios? Appreciate that the equipment stats are fully aligned, but having to switch tab to skill ups back to back. Interesting, yeah. I think that's a very good opinion there. The bios are fun, they're funny, big fan. All right, so out of all of the bios, who would you say your guys' favorites are so far? Because I've seen quite a lot of them, and I was personally laughing out loud at some of them because they're just some of them are really funny. It's extra, yeah. It is definitely a little bit of an extra piece. But I think having a little bit more adds a great amount of just detail to each character, and I think that really helps their personality shine, in my opinion. They're missing from a lot of characters, including yeah. It's definitely a lot, yeah. Some people are saying they like how, Mercedes liking Brenus, waiting for fan fiction. With who though? Like, where are you getting that from? Some buyers are pretty small and some are funny, like Ravi and Stenny. Yeah, that's very true. Politis and ventriloquism. There's just like, it just adds just a little bit of detail to that I really do like about it. Okay. And yeah, definitely about that too. Something that I'll be talking a little bit about afterwards are the extra voice lines. So if you guys weren't aware, on the Stove page, they did announce that there are extra voice lines when encountering certain heroes. So that is with Alencia, Ravi, and Crow. So Alencia interacts with Senya. You have Ravi interacting with Pylus and with Tenebria, and also having Crow with Dien and with Sigrid. And personally, I went into PvP or the PvE mode so I could just pop into the boss fights and see them, and I really love the extra character that's been added to each character. If you haven't tried it out yet, if you have them or if you have a friend with them, you can bring them into the fights in the story mode to do so. Disappointing because some of the bio info could be added without. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things that the bio currently has access to, I think, that we can look into, but for sure. A lot of people are talking about how the voice lines are definitely, again, personally, in my opinion, I'm a huge fan of Senya, as some of you might know, so seeing the little extra dialogue and interaction with Alencia and Senya was, it hurt a little bit. Yeah, it gave me goosebumps too. Just really fun. So when do they trigger? So some of them trigger in certain circumstances. So for example, every character that's been introduced so far have their ready line. So whenever they take their turn, so long as the other hero is on the battlefield, they will trigger that line. And if there are more than one that they interact with, so for example, if Crow was in the same match as both Sigrid and Dien, it would choose a line at random. But for some of them, like Alencia, when activating different skills, so for Alencia's skill 3 and for her extra attack, she also has an additional voice line when fighting against Senya, which I think is just really interesting. Does the extra voice lines have found language? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but I would like to ask you a little bit more about that if you can reiterate on that. For the Alencia one, the Senya lines are pretty good. Yeah, appropriately so. Yeah, it's a little bit melancholy. Melancholy. Was curious if it happens in PvP as well. Yes, it does happen in PvP as well. So I think it's really, really cool. We also have some other discussion for the UI stuff too. So any part of the UI is transparent because if we change the UI base theme, they look a bit off, awkward, and out of touch with the theme. That's an interesting way to put it. I think we were talking a little bit about where things should be positioned, and I think that adding a little bit more viewability would definitely help with the accessibility of it. So I'll certainly note that down as well. We also have random RTA draft combat music for each season rotating. I love all the music and want it rotated. That's a really interesting discussion. So would you say, so for people who have participated in seasons, they do receive the arena look for, say, mock lobbies. Are you saying that you'd be able to queue up with your own lobby and music, and then at random it would insert that stage? Or would it be just more that it'd be on a full random rotation? Because I think that every RTA stage really does deserve the love it gets. Or it has, for all the time and detail, especially for the music as well. But also that does, in my opinion at least, that does also apply for the season that it's currently in. So, it's certainly a very interesting topic to bring up. For those who are participating in the RTA season, I hope you guys are having a great climb so far. I am still looking to finish my placements personally, but I do really love this season's arena. It's super cool. Like especially last season and this season. I mean, just every single season they blow me away with every single one. So, you know, for you guys from your perspectives, do you guys would want to see a rotating arena in music? Would you want to be able to select your own stages, stuff like that? When we watched the E7WC, the arena frenzy was changing color of the arena, and is there a possibility to implement that into RTA? I would certainly note that down because personally I really love that as well. It added a lot of extra tension to the frenzy. Selecting stages, people are saying rebuilding is kind of holding me down, a little too hard to get into the season. Okay, fair enough. And some people are saying if it's all rotated, think about it like a fighting game. Imagine the level of background and music every time. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool to think about as well. This season's the same as the past couple of seasons. Are you planning on bringing more ban options? So like more ban selections, or what were you guys thinking in sort of that in that sort of perspective? I know there's a lot of conversation on the table about more pre-bans. I know there's been a lot of conversation about maybe global bans. What do you guys think, at least in your opinions, do you guys think is the most important at the moment in the current state of the game? I know there are people who are saying that they might want to see some either community-led rotating bans, or maybe just increasing the number to like 2 bans for lower ranks, or saying to increase to 3 at higher ranks. There's certainly a lot of ways to approach it. And I'm definitely interested in seeing what you guys have perspective on. We're getting to the point where there's so many heroes, it's hard to ban certain heroes. Rotating global bans is interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of approaches to it. That is certainly, there's like a lot of ways to go about approaching the arena seasons. Rotation bans voted by the community. Weekly ban rotations. Would you guys want to see like more like weekly, or would you guys want to see it more seasonal wise? If it was to be a, you know, like a rotated ban like that. And people are saying mainly about 2 bans for lower ranks also seems like a good one. There's so many like very interesting approaches for how you know, people approach the game. So weekly, bi-weekly, a lot of people on the weekly trail. Certainly note that down as well. And I know recently there was a lot of community discussion as well about the number of bans. I think a lot of people were saying for the majority it's about increasing the number of pre-bans, but you know, I really am interested in seeing what you know, what kind of approach you guys would have to it. Weekly sounds more fair. Rotation isn't too bad. It can be frustrating. Could be weekly, bi-weekly. Yeah, bi-weekly could be great enough to cook in between. That would be interesting. Yeah, like you see 1 or 2 times where you're like, okay, here's the next rotation. I gotta push myself to build a few more heroes and get them ready for this season. Yeah, definitely a lot of really good perspectives on this. Okay, well, I definitely will be noting that down. I know that the Insight season is currently still going on. It will be ending for the normal arena. And I think that we have yet to excuse me, we have yet to see the announcement for the end of World Arena, but we will see that in due time for sure. So that moves us on into some of the other topics that we have from this week's update, which are the custom triple banner summon. Have you guys already taken a look into what you guys are thinking about for your triple banner? I'm personally not too sure yet. I know a lot of people like to target limiteds. I've targeted limiteds for a little bit, but you know, how have you guys been doing? Have you guys chosen your rotations? Have you guys decided to pull? And you know, why or why not, right? Or you know, how's your luck been? Have you guys managed to get any good pulls? I know that somebody within our community might have pulled 2 SSBs in a row. I'm not mentioning the same person, but you know, I'm just saying. A lot of people are saying, okay, you know, going for certain heroes, certain banners. Okay. A lot of people are going for Guiding Light. Yeah, and someone might have pulled 6 ML5s. Some people just get lucky, you know, it's not fair. Okay. Super lucky, super unlucky so far, 40 pulls. I believe in you. You'll get some good pulls soon. Okay. A lot of people are saying, you know, a lot of people are on the fence about it, and I'd like to, you know, hear a little bit more as to why you guys are, you know, why you guys are or are not deciding to pull. Because I honestly, I see the triple banner as a great opportunity for players who are looking to get the limiteds for, you know, the summer limiteds, but there's definitely a lot of discussion up in the air. Some people also talking about some of the older stuff, about, talking about the old UI pack, or maybe an option to switch the UI setting. You don't like the UI too much. Well, at the very least, at the beginning right now, we do have at least a background for the old UI, but I will definitely think about that, or I'll definitely be noting that down as well. Waiting for limiteds, focusing on artifacts for Golden Rose and Elbrus, definitely. Definitely know what's, not, okay. You never know what's coming for sure. Holding until the end is always great and more time to save. Okay, interesting perspective. Just gonna wait until last week until I saw XYZ character was available. Hopefully I'll getting some of their artifact. Yeah, okay. Do you have a question? Why don't we switch out one of the banners a month with old limiteds? I think that's an interesting question. I don't know the answer, unfortunately, but I think it's definitely a very interesting question. So we were talking about holding for certain heroes, okay. Pick the characters for the artifacts and then bought their artifact in the shop and then not pull. Okay. That's definitely, I feel like a lot of people definitely use the coins for that kind of backup. Who am I pulling for? That's a very good question. I'm not sure just yet. I think I'm still thinking that over. I don't know what I need right now at the moment. I've got to think about what I need right now. Okay. Yeah, guiding light. We could always go for more guiding lights. Can never go wrong with guiding light. Yep, I just got to get another guiding light, guys. Definitely. All right, so we've gone through a good majority of what's been coming out for big improvements. There is one other thing that I'd like to talk about as well, and that is Fumir. Her character trailer just got released as of today. And so, what do you guys think about Fumir and her announcement? Is it Fumir, Humir? How do you guys pronounce it as well? And am I a PvE guy or PvP? I'm trying to be PvP a little bit more. Definitely trying to, just push myself as far as I can. But I think that for right now, I am a little bit more PvE. Okay, seems a little bit lacking. Can you guys go a little bit more into detail as to why you guys think about where they're, where they might be lacking? Pull for collection. Otherwise, okay. She needs to be 5,000 speed. Oh goodness, 5,000 speed might be, and 600 max health. Oh yeah, kind of hard to play. Okay. Premier should be like pretty nasty with characters like the Claw. Interesting. Okay. Her kit is complicated, and I don't know if she's usable in RTA. She's held back in her skill about all hero types. Yeah, I think that's a pretty interesting discussion to have. Where do you think she could shine? I'm not too sure just yet. I think that she does seem like a very good debuffer. I think she has a lot of tools from other heroes who are very, very scary as opener debuffers. But in the moment, I'm not too sure myself. I'd like to see where all the speculation goes a little bit in the future. Yeah, her alliance and RGB teammates make her feel a little bit awkward to pick in RTA, where most of the units we use are MLs. Definitely interesting, yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of different discussion here. She needs AOL. She's basically AOL but needs setup. Okay, and you're forced to play a rainbow team. Okay, so you guys think that it sounds like for the most part it's mainly that elemental restriction that you guys feel like might be a little bit concerned about in terms of her kit. Okay. I will note that down. Concept's amazing, yeah. It's a nice gimmick. Well, I mean, that's me, so, thank you. Thank you very much. I definitely do like the characters that do have like a little bit more of a tricky move, like a little bit of a tricky skill set where it's kind of like she doesn't fit everywhere, but when she has her 1 or 2 opportunities, that's where she shines the best. I like that. That's really fun. Yeah. There's a lot of discussion here. All right, great. Yeah, a little bit too limiting. Could be great in arena, but a little bit more challenging in RTA. Okay, yeah, that's definitely like a fair assessment to bring. It's hard to draft if people, okay, Fumir doesn't go through. Yeah, I can imagine that you do all this setup just to make sure that Fumir is applicable, and then all of a sudden she might get banned or picked out, right? And that might be a little bit more troublesome. Almost like always a must ban. I feel like it could have included ice heroes as well. Okay. Do you guys think that she does have any PvE utility? That's actually a very good question. Am I taller than Mort? Maybe we'll check after stream. Maybe I don't want to admit what the answer is. Sadly, but not really. Okay. Maybe not Guild War. Maybe Guild War. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Fixed damage is not super reliable in PvE. Yeah, that's definitely okay. Gimmick a 7-1 confirm. Yeah, right. Maybe someday. Maybe if I bring like really big platforms, we can hit that. And also, I think I saw some discussion about her defense buff as well. You know, she seems a little bit to be a more aggressive hero, but she might. It's kind of interesting that she does defense. But yeah, okay. And most PvE, you want a certain elemental cop. Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair assessment on that. So I'll definitely note that down. So good mainly for AI, I'd say. Okay, great, wonderful. We don't know if she scales on defense, right? I do not have the answer directly for you at the moment. Sleep isn't that helpful in PvE. Yeah. And some people saying as well to playing a slow Fumir. You know, I think that's what, at least to me, it looks like for her artifact, right? She has her artifact where she pushes herself up after 2 teammate skills, right? So she might want to be a little bit slower. It is a up to 20% combat readiness push, so you would still need her with a little bit of speed, right? But there's definitely a lot of things to think about in terms of that perspective. A lot of other characters who could replace her position, like Naqual or Rams, who seem more effective. Okay. Well, thank you all for your feedback. I definitely will be noting that down. You know, like it's always cool to see like what people are thinking about before the hero releases, but I'm excited to see what might come out of it as time goes on. So for the last couple of QOLs that came out with this week's update were the higher res illustrations. So for people who love the lobby backgrounds, you have the higher resolution illustrations, and for the Alchemist Steeple, they did reduce the cost for catalyst conversions and as well for the amount that can be crafted for every week. So what do you guys think about that? You know, as someone who personally, I don't use Alchemist Steeple all too much because I hold a lot of my resources, but for people who might be more frequently crafting, how do you guys think the new catalyst system will affect you? Okay, people are saying they like it, all great. It's good to hear. Amen, yeah, all right, great. I was hearing all good things about the Alchemist Steeple. And, you know, for me, you know, what do you guys mainly use for the Alchemist Steeple? Because I, personally, it's like charms and it's craft equipment, right? So what do you guys think about the overall utility of the Alchemist Steeple in its current state, I would say? Because I think that this is great, and I think that for people who like to craft catalysts a lot, this is definitely a huge improvement. But, you know, just overall thinking about the Alchemist Steeple, how do you guys think? Use it all for the crafting mat? Yeah. You know, the crafting mat is definitely an interesting space. I used to convert it a little bit. There was one time where I was actually fully out of claws to give to my my guildmates, so I had to craft a few more of the 4th tier claws to give over to my guildmates. Could we exchange reforged mats for other mats, like golem mats trading for wyvern mats? Interesting. That's kind of similar to the crafting mats, right, where you could convert a little bit like that. Okay. Yeah, you could convert crafting mats into reforged mats as well. Especially for me, who's been building a lot more gear, I have been noticing that I've been having a little trouble holding on to reforged mats. So I think that's definitely interesting. What do you guys think about that perspective? I'm gonna write that down here as well for reforged mats in the steeple. Yeah, bazillion golem mats. Yeah, you and me both, man. Utilize it once a week. Yeah, I think that, I mean, I feel like in my opinion, you should be utilizing the Alchemist Steeple at least once a week because it is your weekly reputation. So that is definitely a big thing. You have 400,000 wyvern mats? Are you serious? Oh my goodness. That's crazy. That's like, I don't think I've ever had more than like 50,000 claws. That's crazy. It's good for early players who are running the lower level hunts, and also for those who are running lower level wyvern for that. Yeah. That's something a really good perspective to have there. So people are saying that a lot of them are saying that basically more ways to get reforged mats, either by converting your actual crafting mats or from converting other existing reforged mats. You think 100,000 is the average to have on hunt mats? I have like 0 on like all of my hunts. Oh my goodness, you guys are crazy. I have 140,000 mats. Oh my goodness, people, you guys are crazy. You know, you can just craft that and turn those into dust now. You know, just saying. 500k minimum. You guys are crazy. You guys are wild. Oh my goodness. Like, I I try to run a little bit of hunt here and there, and then I throw out all of my mats trying to get something, and then I'm out of mats. Reforge mats to the bottleneck. Okay. I did that before the dust change. Oh no. So while we're on the topic of quality of life stuff, are there other things, you know, outside of Alchemist Steeple, right? Just in general quality of life that you guys might be seeing that might be good to bring in either for like UI, appearance, general quality of life? I'd like to note down anything else you guys might agree on here. Also, oh my gosh, you guys have to, you guys are just flexing all of your mats. 500k, 138k, 150k. Ugh, I'm jealous. I'm out of gear stuff. Breath of Orbis. Ooh, that's a good conversation. Because I think that at the moment there isn't all the Breath of Orbis. Okay. Ooh, yeah, a lot of people are talking about Breath of Orbis. Let's get that in there. Okay. You really want to finish your Sanctuary? Yeah, okay. Fixing the size and the gradients of the buttons. So that's in response to the new UI update, I assume negative. Is that correct? More Breath of the Orbis. Yeah, a lot of people are saying Breath of Orbis, Breath of Orbis. I wonder when that's going to be implemented next. I'll definitely note that down, though. Mod Drem crafting and conversion could use some help. Okay. Completionist struggles having to pick and choose Sanctuary. Yeah, I had to refund my Sanctuary one time because I threw a lot of them into the Will of Orbis in the center, and then I was like, oh, I want to do more dispatches, so I had to pull some from there. And people are talking about the great achievement as well in the guild lobby. Okay. Add weekly merit to the alchemists to turn enchant powders. So you're saying to convert enchant powders into charms themselves. I mean, if you think about it, the way that it converts right now, you have two avenues, right? You can sell for the gold and then get the powder out of it as well, so you're splitting the resource down the line, or you can extract and use those to then turn into higher tier, which means you have to spend a little bit more gold, but you are getting more XP out of it. I think, in my opinion, that's the avenue that they're going for right now. We want to change the 1 minute summary to match the vibe on TikTok. Our idea is to have you dancing on the background while Miku reads the changes. Miku, how are you feeling about that? We're gonna go with that. We're gonna do some TikTok dances. Oh boy. I don't know. It could be fun. Can we get the bars to indicate S3 usage like Dark Corvus on units that are particularly long skill cooldowns like Tamarin and LRK? Okay, so for heroes who have build-up cooldowns, right? So ones that can increase their or decrease their cooldown time. You're saying that it would be good quality of life to add the little R bar under the usually where you see Fighting Spirit or where you see Focus. Is that correct? Only if Gimmick setting. The maid outfit again. Oh boy, here we go again. More info into that. Okay. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting perspective to take. I know that, I mean, there is obviously the skill viewer when you're on the timeline, but you know, stuff like that instantly heads up. I can certainly see that perspective on. You wish that the higher resolution applied to some heroes, illustrations like Silverblade, Araminta, or Judge Kisei. Interesting. Are you saying that some of the hero renders are a little bit more lower res? Okay, let me take a look into that. I will ask about that as well. Okay. Some hero art feels a little bit weak. Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Cool. I see that there's some other people talking about that as well. Okay. Some people also talking about expanding gear storage. Okay. I mean, how are you guys doing on gear storage? I'm curious about that because personally, I have been a little bit better on managing it, but I mean, I definitely know that there's a lot of players who talk about that. See people immediately going, "Yeah, I need more." Mm-hmm. Needs more, needs more. Yeah, I've heard a lot of discussion on that, so I'll definitely be looking into that as well. Alrighty. So with that, I wanted to open up the conversation just to one more topic, which is outside of the update itself. You know, is there any other big topics you guys would want to discuss in our kind of the last segment here for today's stream? Because there's definitely certainly a lot to talk about, and I know that there's a lot of pressing topics, and I really want to make sure I'm getting down as much as I can from you guys for sure. But I will also be noting the gear storage part because it sounds like a lot of players are having looking to have some extra gear storage, so I'll definitely put that in as well because we just did get the artifact inventory expansion as well, so definitely a lot of discussion. Gear storage is hard after the summer event. I feel like I think or something I have my default inventory full and storage like almost full and I still haven't rolled any of that gear. Wow. More luck, you and me both, man. You and me both. Increasing the number of missions we can have for high command, extra guardian stuff, Mola buffs, EEs. Yeah, there's just so many different topics to talk about. But if there was one big one to really send off, what would you guys think about to discuss in that circumstance? Make it so we can retake Mola and catalysts. Okay. Some people talking about unequipped, some people talking about gear presets, effect resistance. Yeah, there's a lot of discussion on the table here. I think we'll just note those all down for sure. Reputation bonuses, okay. Guardian levels. As a guild leader, I would like to see some weekly mission progression per member, or something that gives me a little bit more information on that regard. Do you mean by that by the weekly contributions, or gear loadouts? Okay. Yeah, definitely a lot of discussion here. Weekly contribution is okay. More space. I don't have a laptop to take notes. I like handwriting notes. Like, I'm gonna be real. I like the pen to paper aspect. That's just me. Thank you for asking, but I really do like putting things down on paper. I'm old school? Yeah, okay. we can put it as I'm old school. Why not? Why not? Do I have any good drawings? No. I do not, unfortunately. I do little doodles maybe once in a while, but here, mainly just notes. Add auto soul burn for selected heroes. I've been thinking about that too. Like, I love using Adventurer Ross in my my Labyrinth team. So I'm not good enough right now for Nightmare, so I'll just do regular. And I love soul burning Ross for bosses like that. Can we see your notebook to see if you're actually writing stuff in it? Trust me, there are notes here. You can even see from the little scribbles here. I have been taking down notes. Can we set up our units to do certain tasks on auto? I think that'd be a pretty interesting approach. I'm gonna note that down as well, just because I think it's a really cool concept to bring in. Yeah, because it's interesting when you see when you're autoing through say a labyrinth run and you see the full soul bar just there and you're just like, oh, maybe we should do something with that. Ooh, auto soul burn for, okay, I was thinking this is more for, that would be, oh my goodness, that'd be very interesting. Some people are on YouTube chat are talking about soul burning for your defense teams. That would be interesting. But from my perspective, I'm mainly thinking about people running auto battle on PvE. A lot of, yeah, immediately an instant division. But that's what YouTube chat was discussing. Again, in my opinion, I think that'd be more for for people who do that. But yeah. Okay, well, I think that is unfortunately all the time I have today for the notes. Again, thank you guys so much for all of your feedback. There was a lot of stuff. I'll answer just a few more questions here. Favorite NPC? I don't know, actually. That is a good question, but so for today, we are just going to be wrapping things up for now. Just as a reminder, once again, for the next couple of weeks, for the next 3 weeks, we will not be having a stream, as we are currently looking to review and just look for ways that we can improve our stream going further. So I really want to make sure that you guys have your opinions heard. So thank you once again for all of your feedback. It really does mean a lot to me that I can use this time to speak with you guys as the community. There's a lot that's been going on, obviously, so we do, again, appreciate all of your feedback. So once more time, no stream for the next 3 weeks. We are going to be doing our best to improve the experience for the global community. And yeah, thank you guys, as always, for your time today. I know it's a little bit of a shorter stream, but we will be back in a couple of weeks. And yes, feel free to send us suggestions, not only just to us on the Discord, but if you have ideas for streams, we would love to hear all ideas. Just feel free to DM me on Discord. If you're not in there, official Epic 7. But that's going to be it for today. Thank you guys once again for all of your time. It's your guy Gimmick, and I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Take care.